The woman you see who looks strong and lean, they're lifting, period. What lifting heavy actually does for a woman is reshape her body. Lean tissue replacing fat, posture improving, not bulk. On today's round, we're getting practical. Last episode, I made the case for why muscle is one of the most important organs you have, why losing it through midlife is one of the biggest health risks nobody's talking about, and why it might be the real reason your distance has been dropping for the past decade. If you missed that one, go back and listen. Today is about exactly how to build it back, what kind of training works, how heavy is heavy enough, how often, what to eat, what to skip, and the mistakes I see midlife adults and midlife golfers making that keep them spinning their wheels for years without ever seeing a change in the gym or on the course. Welcome to Playing for Life, the podcast where golf, hormones, and midlife performance are finally in the same conversation. I'm Dr. Amy Garza, a midlife hormone expert, aspiring competitive golfer, and someone who believes better performance starts from the inside out. On this show, we connect what's happening in your body to how you show up on and off the course. It's about building a body that lets you live better, play better, and stay in the game longer. Because midlife's not where you stop playing, it's where you learn how to play for life. So let's tee it up. So last episode, I made the case. Today, let's get into the playbook. I want this episode to be actionable enough that you could leave it and start making real changes this week, both for your health and for your game. Quick note before we get into it. I'm a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. This is education only. The framework I'm about to share works for the average healthy midlife adult. But if you have any specific medical conditions, particularly heart conditions, kidney issues, joint problems, or chronic illness, please talk to your doctor before starting a new training program. Okay, let me start with the most important principle, because if you don't understand this one, none of the rest really matters. Muscle responds to what's called progressive overload. It's a fancy phrase for a simple idea. Your muscle adapts only when you challenge it with more than it's used to. More weight, more reps, more effort, more volume. So if you go into the gym and you're still doing the same workout you were doing 6 months ago, and your muscle has no reason to change, it's likely not going to. It already knows how to do that workout. Our bodies are really smart. This is the number one reason I see midlife adults who've been working out for years and have nothing to show for it. They go to the gym, they go to a class, they do the same routine they've done forever. The body adapted to that workout a long time ago. There's no new stimulus, so there's no new muscle. And in the meantime, their distance keeps changing and they have no idea why. Building muscle in midlife requires you to lift weights that generally challenges you. And it requires you to keep moving that bar up over time. Not every workout, not every week, but consistently over months and years. The work has to get harder. That's the whole game. Now, the next question that people always ask is, well, how heavy? What's heavy enough? Here's the standard I want you to use. The last few reps of every workout should generally be hard. Not impossible, but pretty hard. If you're doing a set of 10 and the last 2 to 3 reps require real effort to the point that you actually might miss the last one, you're probably in the right zone. Most midlife adults, and especially women, are training way too light. They pick up a 5-pound dumbbell and do 15 effortless reps and call it strength training. That's not really strength training. That's movement. It's important, and movement is fine, but it's not what builds muscle. Muscle responds to load. Real load. The same way your driver doesn't get longer because you swing easy, your muscle doesn't get stronger because you lift easy. I want the women listening to hear this specifically. The fear that lifting heavy will make you bulky is one of the most damaging pieces of misinformation in fitness. Bulky muscle requires a hormonal environment that most women physiologically just simply don't have at baseline. What lifting heavy actually does for a woman is reshape her body. Lean tissue replacing fat, posture improving, strength rising, confidence growing, not bulk. The woman you see who looks strong and lean, they're lifting, period. And the female golfers who keep their distance into their 60s and 70s, they're lifting heavy too. Remember, most of you carried around a toddler for years, more often on one side than the other, and you didn't get bulky on that side. Let me talk about what to actually do in the gym, because this is where I think golfers in particular have been getting it wrong. If you only have time for a few movements, prioritize compound lifts. These are the movements that use multiple muscle groups at once. Think squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, pull-ups or pull-downs, lunges. These are the lifts that give you the most return on your time, build the most functional strength, and have the most carryover to real life and to your golf. Let me say more about that, because I think most golfers have a hard time connecting the dots between what they do in the gym and what happens on the tee box. Your golf swing is a rotational, ground-up power movement. Power starts in the ground, drives through your legs, through your hips, your torso, and finally into your arms and the club. If any link in that chain is weak, you leak power. The compound lifts I just mentioned are the ones that train that exact chain. Squats and deadlifts build your hip drive and your posterior chain, your glutes and your hamstrings, your low back. That's where the power in your swing actually originates. If your glutes are weak, you can't push off the ground properly, and you can't generate the rotational torque that drives the club through the ball. So you compensate with your arms, and that's how you start spraying the ball, hurting your back, and watching the ball come up 20 yards short. Presses and rows build your upper body in a balanced way. Pressing strength helps control the club through impact. Pulling strength keeps your shoulders healthy and your posture through a long round. If you only press and never pull, you'll round forward and you'll lose your golf posture. If you only pull and never press, the opposite. You need both. Now, moving to lower body, lunges and single leg work train your balance and your ability to stabilize through each side of the body independently. Important for everyone, but especially for golfers, because every swing requires the body to handle force asymmetrically. The trail side and the lead side are doing different things. This is why the compound lifts I just named matter so much more for golfers than the isolation work people gravitate to. You don't drive the ball with one bicep, and you don't transfer weight with one quad. You drive the ball with your whole posterior chain firing in sequence. Compound lifts train that pattern. Isolation work, like bicep curls, leg extensions, that kind of thing, they have their place, but it shouldn't be the main event, especially when time is limited. So if you're going to lift only twice a week, build your sessions around 3 to 5 compound movements, with maybe 1 or 2 smaller exercises at the end. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. So the next question might be, well, how often should I be doing this? And this is where people tend to get paralyzed. 2 to 4 sessions a week is the sweet spot for most midlife adults. You can build real muscle on 2 solid sessions if those sessions are challenging. You'll build faster with 3 or 4, but here's what I want you to hear. 2 consistent sessions a week, every week for a year, will absolutely transform your body and your game. 5 sporadic sessions that you abandon after 8 weeks will not. Consistency over intensity, always. And give yourself at least 48 hours between sessions that train the same muscle groups. Your muscles built between workouts, not during them. The workout is the stimulus. The growth happens during recovery. Just like a tournament round doesn't make you a better player, the practice in between is what actually builds that game. Speaking of recovery, that brings me to nutrition, specifically protein. This is where most midlife adults are getting it completely wrong. And it's the reason their training isn't paying off the way it should. For the average healthy adult, the protein target I recommend to my patients is 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight each day. Notice I said ideal body weight, not current body weight and not goal weight, ideal. The healthy weight your body actually wants you to be at. Keep in mind, this is far above the standard recommended amounts of protein. In my clinical experience, I've just found that this higher amounts of protein, if this is our goal, we tend to hit the amounts that we really need to see true muscle protein synthesis and our bodies change. So if your ideal body weight is around 150 pounds, you're looking at 120 to 150 grams of protein a day. That's a lot more than most people are eating. Most midlife adults I see in my clinic are eating maybe 40 to 60 grams. It's a fraction of what they need to maintain muscle, let alone build it. The reason I aim high in that range is practical. You're not going to hit your protein target every single day. I mean, life happens. So if you set the target on the high end, the days you fall short, you're still in a useful zone. If you set your target too low and you miss it, you're not going to get enough. One caveat, and this matters, if you have kidney disease, a history of kidney disease, or any condition affecting kidney function, please talk to your doctor before pushing your protein intake up. For the average healthy person, higher protein is well tolerated and well supported by the research. For someone with kidney issues, it's a different conversation, and that conversation has to happen with your own physician. It's also a good idea to distribute your protein across your meals. Don't try to eat all 130 grams at dinner. Your body can only do so much at a time. Aim for around 30 to 40 grams of protein at each main meal. That's roughly a palm-sized portion of meat or fish, a couple eggs paired with Greek yogurt, or a protein shake plus a real food source. Okay, now let me address something I know is on a lot of your minds, the cardio question. I get this all the time. But Dr. Garza, I love my walks. I love my Peloton. I love yoga. Are you saying that I shouldn't do that? I'm not saying that at all. Cardiovascular fitness matters. We're going to do a whole episode on VO2 max and cardio in midlife. That's coming up next. What I'm saying is this. In midlife, if you have to choose where to put your limited training time, strength training comes first. The window for protecting and building muscle is shrinking, whether you act on it or not. Cardio you can build up easier at a later age. Muscle, you have to defend that actively, starting now. Let me go through the mistakes I see over and over again, especially in my golfer patients. Like we've talked about, the first one is lifting too light. I covered it already, but I want to underline it. If you're not finishing your sets with real effort, you're not actually strength training hard. Just push yourself a little bit harder the next time you're in the gym and see if you notice a difference. The second is skipping legs. The largest muscles in your body live in your legs and hips. Skipping legs, squats, lunges, deadlifts is skipping the biggest opportunity for you to have the most metabolic and structural benefits. Don't skip legs. I don't care if it's the hardest day of your week, especially because it's the hardest day of your week. And honestly, especially if you're a golfer, your legs are where your power comes from. Skipping legs is missing yards. The third thing is sticking exclusively to machines. Machines have a place, especially when you're learning movements or coming back from an injury, but free weight movements like barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, these train your stabilizing muscles and your nervous system in ways that machines don't. Most of the training should involve free weights or your own body weight because the golf swing requires every stabilizer in your body to fire correctly. And machines isolate in a way that doesn't carry over to real asymmetric rotational movement. Free weights will really help you there. The fourth is under eating protein. We already covered that as well, but most of you are not eating enough and it's holding everything else back. The fifth, and this is the one I see most often, is quitting too soon. Strength gains take months and months, even years sometimes, to really show up in how you look. The strength itself shows up faster than that. You'll feel stronger in a few weeks, but the body composition changes, the energy changes, the metabolic changes, the changes in your swing, those build over months and months. Most people quit before the magic starts. So don't be most people. Keep going. Okay, so where do you start if you've never lifted or if you've been doing it wrong for years? Find a coach. I'm going to be honest with you. The single best investment you can make in your strength training is a few sessions with a qualified strength coach. Someone who can watch your move, teach you the basic lifts, make sure your form is safe, and design a program that fits your body and your goals. You don't need a coach forever. You need a coach long enough to learn the patterns, 3 to 6 months, maybe a year. Then you can try flying on your own. A coach forever, if you can afford it, is great, but a lot of people just need the basics and understand how to create their own programs down the road. Think of it like most of us would think about working with a golf instructor. We don't take lessons for the rest of our lives, even though we might like to. We take them until we've grooved the fundamentals, and then we try maintaining them on our own until we need a tune-up. Think of your strength training coach the same way. This is not the place to cheap out. Bad form leads to injuries, and injuries in midlife can take a lot longer to heal than they did in your 20s. A good coach pays for themselves the first time they catch a mistake that would have hurt you, and they pay for themselves twice if they help you keep training through the years you otherwise could have lost from an injury. So look around your area, ask for recommendations, try to find someone who has worked specifically with midlife adults and or golfers, not someone who only trains 25-year-olds. You want someone who understands joint considerations, recovery timelines, and how to scale appropriately for where you actually are right now. That person is worth their fee. Before I wrap up, I want to say one more thing to the women listening, because this is where the resistance to all of this is highest. You've probably spent your whole adult life being told the opposite of what I just shared in this episode. Cardio for hours, lightweight for endless reps. Stay small, stay lean, stay quiet. That programming runs deep and it's wrong. The evidence and the clinical experience are telling us something completely different now. The women who age the best, who stay sharp the longest, who keep playing the sports they love, including the women in their 60s and 70s who can still hit the ball a long way, those women lift heavy and they eat protein. That's the pattern that works. If you've never picked up a heavy weight in your life, I want you to know it's not too late. The body still responds at 50, at 60, even 70 and 80. The window is not closed. Find a coach, learn the lifts, eat your protein, and watch what happens over the next year. I have seen this transformation in my own patients more times than I can count. And the women who do this work are some of the most lit up, vital, joyful, and frankly, the longest hitting women I know. In the next episode, we'll keep building. We've got a few directions we could go from here, and your questions are going to help shape what's next. Drop them in the comments or send them to amygarzamd.com/podcast, where you can leave them anonymously and I'll see them there. If something in today's episode hit the sweet spot, do me a favor, follow the show so you don't miss what's next, and share this one with a friend who's been spinning their wheels in the gym or the golfer who's been blaming everything but their body for their loss in distance. This is the episode they need. Until next time, this is Playing for Life. Here's to living better and playing longer.